and said, I mean, should a comment that Donald Trump made about Rosie O'Donnell years ago and others, comments he made on Twitter or on The Apprentice, should that be raised in a Republican primary debate?
Of course it should. And I stood up and I cheered when Megyn Kelly asked that question. Mr. Cohen can come on and say that he'd rather talk about the issues. Well, the purpose of a campaign is to prove that you have the character to become president of the United States. And when you demean a woman for asking a necessary question that voters want to hear about, that shows that you don't have the character to take that office.
Katrina, I mean, I know you're a Trump supporter. Do you have any concerns that he just has a really thin skin? I mean, we've had many presidents and many folks in the White House who have had thin skins, and often that, over time, causes real issues, certainly for reporters and for many people. Do you have any concerns about that? Do you think those questions were appropriate?
I don't have any concerns. I mean, this was Mr. Trump's very first national debate on that stage in that element. So I'm going to give him a pass for this first one and see how things develop. And I agree. I think the question was relevant. However, Mr. Trump is an entertainer. The Apprentice is a television show. Most of everything that goes on there is scripted, and it's for ratings, and everybody that does television knows that. You didn't hear anybody calling Ronald Reagan a wife beater just because he appeared in a movie where he was beating up a woman. So I think it was pulled out of context and maybe shouldn't have been in this particular debate, which I believe should have been a debate about policy. So these individuals could introduce themselves to 24 million people.
When Trump retweets someone calling Megyn Kelly a bimbo as a supporter of his, do you think that's acceptable of someone who wants to be president?
Well, I give no weight to Twitter, and most of the time when you're out there going through those feeds, you're tweeting and retweeting, you might see something you like, and maybe it was an accident. Who knows at this point? He didn't say that he did it on purpose. I've done it before myself, so I don't really give too much credence to Twitter at this point.
Can I just jump in? Yeah. He said this retweet happened hours ago. They've had hours to figure it out, and the fact that Cohen came on this show and said he didn't know how it happened is you have to suspend belief in order to think that's true. He has to figure out, and frankly, the fact that this may be the first statement Trump hasn't owned and hasn't defended may tell you that even he knows he's in trouble.
Gloria?
It's Twitter. We should be talking about moving forward and policies that are going to affect the country, not Twitter.
But it's his tweets.
Well, Gloria, one of the things you pointed out today in a piece you wrote is that none of the candidates spoke out last night to condemn Trump's comments. Do you think that if Carly Fiorina, who we're going to talk to in just a moment on this show, had been on that stage, that things might have been different?
I do. I think